All right, welcome to episode 2 of FlatsMafia Podcast. We are here at West Coast Marine, and we have our buddy Graham Taylor is in the house that we're going to get into a lot of interesting talk. Graham's been a big-time tournament fisherman for years and a lifelong friend. You were one of the guys that we'll get into a little bit of that, how we first met through other people, but that's something that we can touch base. I am with James Garrison.
James.
And the big hoss, Justin Lofaro. Episode 2, we're getting things ready. Graham kind of got on us. I'm not going to lie. I think we slacked a little bit by not having this cooler.
I didn't have it ready, man. Sorry.
I know. So Graham's
Southern hospitality.
Graham's like, hey, I'm going to do a podcast. He shows up, leaves, comes back with a bottle of tequila, shot glasses.
Hey, that won't happen again. When our guest comes in, we're going to have it stocked.
Yes. Yeah, we should probably go to Costco and get a little.
I stocked it.
New standards, folks.
A long time ago, but as I came in and fixed things, I just started drinking them.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. There you have it.
They disappeared.
Graham, we're sorry.
That's all right.
But we do appreciate you bringing some tequila, getting the blood flowing.
Blood
flowing.
here.
Yeah, please kind of introduce yourself and kind of give them a background of basically your whole career as a fisherman in the redfish industry.
Well, my journey is just about as similar as everybody else's. You know, it started young, grew up on a creek in Upper Pasco County, Central Pasco County. Started fishing.
Cue the hillbilly music.
Yeah.
Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, cue the hillbilly.
Started fishing for the smallest bites, and then always had a dream to catch the big ones. I just chased it, so that's the reality of the story. To cut it to the.
All right, well, tell me about your redfish career and the fishing tournaments and stuff.
Man, so I was big into preparation. I was really big under the gun. I really like to be on the clock and have to perform when it mattered. And to me, that's what mattered to me. So I made it happen, and that's why I did what I did. So. I was able to, be the luckiest man on a certain day and have heaviest fish. And
you've been pretty successful at these tournaments as well.
I mean, I'm kind of like one of those guys that's done it for free. I can't say I got rich, but I didn't pay to do it.
Yeah.
I was helped along the way and got to, take some really big checks, really big prizes.
In real redfish tournaments. We're
Yeah.
not talking about the little local charity slams that we fished before.
No, I felt like
we're talking about legit.
Yeah. In my 7-year journey, I mean, I started at the bottom with the Tampa Bay Redfish Tour that was a local, you could hop out your boat and wade, and it was really fun. Really
Still one of my favorites.
Awesome camaraderie. Still one of my favorites. The dudes that started that legendary approach. And then I just worked my way up and tried to buy into the best stuff that I felt like the best anglers were involved with. And it's all changed over time. It's still evolving to this day. But I mean, the bottom line is I just went out prepared, and I learned about how fish, not just any fish. For me, it was, fish that were making that transition and being offshore fish. So big heads, fish that were at that 27-inch mark that were, a full pound a head. So when you target that kind of fish, it kind of changes your results.
I hear that. But let me ask you this: with the tournaments and obviously you fished them, Texas, Louisiana. You fished plenty of tournaments out of state, in state. Like, what would you say one was like one of your most recent favorite ones to fish? And
why most recent? Give me the favorite.
Well, give me your favorite one. Yeah,
give me the
favorite.
juice, bro. Give me the juice.
I hooked up the juice happened probably like a little over a year and a half ago, like 2 years ago in the fall. It was a transition in South Texas. Place I'd never been, which is crazy because that's what it's all about, is going places you've never been
and fishing.
And I'd driven 12, 13 miles to Louisiana, but I wanted to fish Texas. It was close to me, and my grandparents are buried out there. My dad fished coastal Texas, so I did. Me and a gentleman named Copeland Moore went. We drove like 18 hours basically to Mexico
at night
and started to
out
and we started to figure it out, man, against 50, 60 just Texas legendary dudes. The culture there is unbelievable. They're all so united, totally different than how we are here.
Yeah,
everybody's just in it for everybody else. It's a big, hey man, like, nice to see you, bub.
Yeah, I remember you coming back from that tournament and talking about how tight they were.
It was
like if you needed a boat, a prop, a motor.
Yeah, we
had your back.
We had engine trouble, right? We were running a hot alarm. A gentleman named Chuck McKinney, and we'd never met in our lives other than maybe a little respect out of finishing on the podiums and these events. Got us a boat, dude, backup boat. That's unheard of, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of on the same agenda there, but we went deep into the ecosystem there and got rewarded. Made a big check in an area I'd never been to, earned a lot of respect around the Gulf of Mexico. So for me, that was, I think it was a PRL event, Professional Redfish League championship 2 years ago. And I haven't really fished. Well, I fished last year a little bit and made my way to, what was the...
that was 2 years ago?
Yeah, that was 2 years.
Yeah.
Last year was a Bassmasters event.
Bassmasters, that's what I was thinking of.
And that was kind of like a televised deal.
Is that something that's going to keep growing, you think? Or
I think that Yamaha and Skeeter and the right type of top level tier, target purchasers for these type of like broadcasts when it's on TV are starting to get involved in the right direction. Whether we have the unification, which has always been the problem, there's a lot of participants, there's a lot of money being exchanged. It's just all going in these random directions. It's like a bunch of different carnivals set up all over the coast, and different levels. And as soon as it's all refined and unified, there'll be an end game that's going to be worth it. But we'll see what the future holds.
We talked about it all the time. Redfish is more of a regional. It's a regional turn, even though you can catch them all the way up to what? Carolinas, right?
Yeah, coastal Carolinas,
Yeah.
Virginia, North Carolina, big breeders.
For the corporate money, though, I feel like it's still viewed as a regional deal that they won't get all their, the money out of it that they would on a bass tournament, if you will.
$8 billion a year industry.
Yeah.
for what?
For the pursuit of redfish.
Redfish is $8 billion?
Just redfish.
Wow.
So people really are like stomping on it because in the 80s.
Well, I mean, when you look at bass and you look at redfish, that's not even close, right?
Yeah.
So do you know the numbers for bass?
I don't. It's usually we're on like a 10% scale. So they already got the other 90% of the world.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, but the other 10% involves an $8 billion
10% is $8 billion is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Chop that pie up.
Yeah, well, because they bass fish throughout the world, right? So if that's an $80 million, $100 billion industry, which fishing might be, inshore fishing might be. I don't know. I don't know the numbers, but I know there's a lot of fishing poles. There's a lot of people buying
I mean,
stuff.
this
it's a huge
is everything
industry here.
impact.
Yeah.
It goes down. Like people don't even think about it. It goes down to the guy selling shrimp.
So
know?
what do you
Everything's
think?
trickled down.
What do you think the
Tourism, all of it.
Those boats
everything-
now, you
everything's
can
tourism
get a
for that.
carbon fiber boat with a Rotax 300 horsepower engine now made that goes 80 miles an hour on command to fly fish for redfish now. I mean, what do you want to do? You tell me there's not economic impact?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are we at?
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
But what do you think the biggest problem then has been to get a tour like MLF or one of the the elite
Unification.
Series? Well, why has that been though? What's the problem?
Well,
there?
the biggest thing is the pursuit of how you catch. So, us as you gravitate towards Florida, we have a more traditional approach of fishing, sight fishing off casting platforms. As you gravitate towards the Texas coast and Louisiana, they actually have perfected the ability of maneuvering their boats and their marksman casting. Like, it's not a fishing game, it's a casting game. So where do you draw the line on what we're doing? So technology always is the catch-22 in anything that happens in this world. So they've maneuvered these shallow draft boats that can hump fish, chase them down, and actually, like, when you throw it in front of their face and the matrix is complete and they see it drop in front of their face, it's genetically instinctual. So these guys are perfect at it. So I went there. I lost to the guys. I was the only one at the end of this tournament in Texas that was fishing traditionally. I was sight fishing, a long edge that had pocket grass. It was just like me back home on the South Shore. And I was doing it just the way I knew how. But the guys that were really doing it were doing it with their engines and towers and precision casting with bait casters. And I got schooled. And there has to be a line that's drawn because I traveled across the country with raw ability and got beat by technology. So there's a intersection that has to be divided. And for them, they don't want to come this way because they don't want to fish.
They can't do that. They
Yeah.
can't do that shit over here.
No, the Fish Act.
No.
Yeah, the Fish Act totally different.
Tell
I
him,
agree with
Justin.
you.
I see where you were about to go with it. I'll say it.
Yeah,
You
please
can't
step
do that
in.
shit over here. You're not going to run on your motor. and stand on your 8-foot casting platform and throw a bait caster in front of a redfish in
No.
Tampa.
No.
They're not going to eat it.
It's not going to happen.
Nah.
Well, they say as you get past the Mississippi, they get really, really crazy genetic, like into it, like it's a matrix. If they see it, they eat it. It's like flight.
I believe it.
And if they
Seen
hear
it, I believe
if
it.
they hear it, they turn around. You throw them a hot dog, you know.
That's why everybody always said,
I'll
you know,
take
you
a hot
can,
dog.
you
And,
can
and Louisiana, it's been like that for us. The time we went with Graham. One
mean,
episode, I actually made 2 out of it.
Yeah.
well, I think,
It was got my PB redfish
go.
there.
That's
I
right.
remember that.
Big heavy Chevy.
I think there's a lot of truth in the fact that if you can be successful here, you know, not just Tampa, but the surrounding areas, throwing artificials, there's not many places you can't go and figure it out.
That's very true.
Give
Well-
yourself enough time.
Yeah.
Answer me this, and a lot of the I think it's the Power Pole Redfish series, a lot of Tampa guys have won that when it's in Louisiana. All the championships are always in Louisiana, right?
Yeah, for
last-
some
the last-
reason we go there because the fishing's supposed to be so great, but it's honestly been on decline because
What I'm saying though is Tampa guys,
we've always performed there. I mean,
Tampa guys
first time I
show
pulled
out.
in there, I was like, "Are you kidding me? This is where they have fishing tournaments?"
You, Ryan Rickard, even Leto, Drangle.
pulled around the
I mean,
corner.
all these guys.
I was like, "Oh, you're here. We'll fish here."
Pull around the, we're gonna go here, boys. Fish right here.
That's how it used to be. Now you got to make big runs. Last time I made any money there, I went 3 hours one direction,
Wow.
3 hours back.
That's one thing I wanted to ask you. So
Would you hold it real quick? How long did you fish for?
Oh, dude, I got
Total of-
2 hour window.
Wow.
Me and Copeland thumped them though. It was the greatest time.
there's
In the fairy pond.
there's a lot of people who have aspirations of being
Homa.
redfish anglers, right? And they don't realize how much time and effort get put into something like that.
Yeah, I've been fortunate, man. I was a guide. I got to see how these fish act. I know about their life in the water column. I mean, I'll break it down simple for you. Like, there's predators, there's sharks, there's porpoises. I mean, they live in a depth that gets them away from those 2 things. And then, here comes number 3. The dude that knows how to fish.
The dude, man, the dude.
So keep that in your back pocket. You know, if you're ever thinking like a fish, know that in 12 inches of water they can get eaten. In 10 inches they can't.
So that's the thought behind the water aspect. But what about the prep and the planning it takes to actually go and fish this with logistics for
It
you?
is. I used to
Prep time.
You know, I'd have a 5-day schedule. It was like going to a normal job. You know, when I was fishing at the highest levels, you're on the water at sun up and you fish until your pattern is over.
What time before? Like how? If the tournament's on a Saturday, how long before are you
It's
pre-fishing?
weird. I was there trying to, you know, when I didn't have full funding, I was emulating the patterns weeks beforehand. So I get up there on the same tidal coefficiencies.
You're trying to find the same
This when I
tide.
was on my own, I would come 2 weeks before.
Dumb this down a little bit.
All right, so
Dumb it down.
Basically,
You're
the
fishing
moon,
the same tide,
that's
try
right,
the same
right. So the
moon.
moon happens full, and then
we
new.
need to let people know what we're talking about
All
here.
right, so
Boy, this is like
the water level is affected by this weird piece of cheese. It's off of the edge of the earth. About how far?
No, look. Yeah,
We know what the moon. Everybody knows what the moon is.
we got that. But what I'm saying is what you just said. I'm trying to make it explainable so it's
All right,
understood.
It's
in
basically a piece
a
of
2-week
cheese.
pattern, it's going to replicate itself. So
There you
you're-
go.
You're looking
There we
at
go.
you're looking at a turnaround of replication.
So you can't go. What I'm saying is, if the tournament's
go-
on a Saturday, you can't go on the Thursday and think
No.
you're going to get this. Well, it's going to be kind of close, but you're going to get a time frame before that. You want to get the exact.
Yeah, things happen in windows. All my bites happen in a 2-hour window. I mean, there's times that I've sat around and told jokes and learned stuff from people, and really enjoyed the boat camaraderie and
Realize
just-
you don't like fishing with the guy you're on.
No,
the boat with.
I won't get on a boat if I don't like the
Not in
fella.
a tournament. You're not.
Never,
No,
never.
that's a long day, bro.
there's plenty of people that have.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're on a boat with a guy for a tournament, for a 2-day tournament at that, and you're not really familiar with him, and it turns out you don't like him, that's a long.
Well, I don't think that's what people understand either.
Long
Is
day.
how much it costs to actually do it right, and how much time that is.
Right.
You
So
know,
he's saying he's there
Yeah, it was
2
a
weeks
full-
beforehand.
No, I was not. I would go there when I was funded on my own and independent and replicate 2 weeks beforehand. So you can go those Fridays and Saturdays 2 weeks beforehand, have the same window within a couple inches to measure the window of opportunity that you're going to get to pounce, right? And then if you don't get there the full week beforehand, because the winner is going to be there on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, watching that window opportunity. You know, I've sat on a dozen fish before because I knew if I got the 2 right bites, you know, in the 2-hour window, like it didn't matter what anybody else did.
Yeah.
I was bringing the weight.
You're there for quality,
Exactly,
not
man.
quantity.
Yeah. So a lot of these guys are just getting in, you know, because they learn how to catch a redfish, and that's awesome because I've been there, and I love that spirit, and that's the heart of being a fisherman. It's because you never know what's going to happen, and that's the honesty.
So I'll break it down to you like this. The only few tournaments that I actually fished a couple years ago, a year ago, whatever it was, for real, we went up. Like, we tried to do 5 days ahead of time.
You in Whitfield,
Yeah.
Timmy?
Yeah. We went to
Jacksonville. I remember seeing you.
We went
St.
there
Augustine,
5
St.
days
Augustine.
ahead of time. Between the fuel every day, the missed time at work or whatever you're doing.
You're missing work. You're taking time off away from your family.
I didn't want to have to deal with a bunch of stuff going in and out, and so I ended up at a place on the water there. So I don't even want to.
Of course
tell
you
what
did,
that
Aussie.
was. Yeah. You gotta eat. You gotta have some fun. Long story short, you know, you got a couple grand
At minimum.
off the rip, not including fees to get into the thing.
Right.
Scared money don't make money.
So I hear you. So $3 grand, you're sitting there saying, "Shit, I hope something happens."
Yeah.
And you're after
And
five,
you've never, and this sometimes this is a place you've never been to.
I've never been there.
So that's why you're there for 5 days. You're
5
learning
days.
it. The first day or two is probably garbage.
We went there ahead of time because we kept hearing about these tidal swings, and we're, over here we're just not used to these 4 or 5 foot
King
tidal swings.
tide.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I found that I like to fish over there when it is low as you can get it.
Where was that?
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
St. Augustine really is where we were.
Super low. You like it there
I want
low?
it at the I want to not be able to get out.
That's just like Tampa. I mean,
If
I
I,
don't know.
Well, it's
up
easy
there.
to find them
yeah.
when it's low.
Yep.
It's a lot easier
Get
to
yourself.
find when it's low.
But the problem with that is we wanted to go because we didn't know the timing. I don't know how the wind, reacts to the tide there, and we did. Our first 2 days, we were pushing football fields
Out of the boat, pushing the boat.
Yeah, the GTS, which is not easily pushed, as you know. Just
Hey, man, don't call me out. I get it.
just
I do.
pushing. So
Sometimes you got to push, man. If you're not getting stuck, sometimes you're not getting shallow enough.
yeah, well, we were getting shallow enough, but long and short of it is the money and time. If you were to do that times 5-6 tournaments, you gotta own your own company, or be independently wealthy, or
Have legit sponsors that just give you a
have
bunch of money.
legit sponsors that are okay with here's 15-20 grand to get you. That's your break.
gotta-
even.
you gotta-
practice.
You got to lodge yourself for a week.
And people say, "Oh, you
beforehand.
fished for 5-6 days." Not when you're in that mentality from sun up to sundown to try and find fish. I got to tell you, it's enjoyable, but it's not as enjoyable as you would think.
Right, because people look at pictures and they think it's great.
All you're doing is running.
Yeah,
You're checking. You're running. I leaned on a couple people to figure out where I'm going. Him being one of them. But
the secret is to not get in that attitude. Like, you can see everything slow down
yeah,
and get way better at
It's-
where you're at if you get there and you work in tractor gear.
and it's common sense. A lot of it. People overthink the shit out of this
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
You gotta have bait. You gotta see. In my opinion, you have to see fish. If you're not seeing fish, you gotta roll, man.
well, if you don't see fish and you're not catching the fish, yeah,
Yeah, but you'll see
Bet.
people beat a bank all day long that they
I
were
would
at 2
suggest
days
moving.
ago.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You'll see them. Tournament guys too. They will beat a shoreline up because they caught them there 2 days ago.
Right, but what I'm saying is, so you're there a week. You got to plan a week vacation for this, right? On your normal
vacation.
job, huh?
Yeah,
Vacation.
'cause you-
Vacation, yeah.
That's
You got to lodge yourself for the week.
That's correct.
You got to spend the money on gas to drive up there, gas throughout the week.
Yep.
You got to pay the fees to get in.
Yep.
You got to buy the tackle to do it right. I mean,
Yeah.
you have sponsors for some of this stuff, but this is not a hey, everybody chip in $100 and
No,
let's
it's
go.
recreation.
No,
man.
this
It
is-
costs.
This is
It's a lifestyle.
it's expensive to do this
You
kind
gotta
of
be
stuff.
willing to lose. I never
I-
tried to do it to
How
make
many
money.
how many people are winning out of the? There's a
Man.
field. There's a field of 50. Are they the same type of guys that
If
are
I
winning
pull
every
up
time?
and there's 50 guys, man, there's 10 guys I worry about. Maybe 5 when it really boils down to it. I mean, it's weird. There's a lot of people that are seasoned and understand patterns and how to fish for heavy fish, and there's guys that go out there and
Just winging it.
exactly, man. So
catch 2 fish.
You-
Worry about couple local
you got
dudes.
guys
maybe.
that are graying the beard after doing it for 20 years, and when it comes into their ballpark, and it's time to go under the gun, you're going to have a hard time beating them because they got more time than you.
A lot more.
Yeah, it's tournament time is the difference.
And
it's totally different than regular time.
We traveled to Louisiana to fish for all this money, and it's just like we keep giving it to the same group of guys, and it's like this is crazy because
they live there, right?
Yeah, I mean, let me fish there for 300 days a year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to sound
salty,
cocky or anything, but
you're a very good fisherman.
I mean,
what makes you better is time.
Let's show the love around the region, man. Florida's got a lot of redfish.
Every championship is in Louisiana.
Hey, Texas got a lot of fish in it.
Texas does.
Coastal Carolina's got a lot of fish in it.
They need to start a trout tournament in Texas that rivals
I'm sure there
redfish.
is trout tournaments in Texas.
Right, but I mean that gets the same size as redfish tournaments. The
those
trout there in
amazing.
Texas are something that is maybe more impressive.
I think it's pretty impressive.
30-inch trout.
Well, they just had a massive freeze there a couple years ago when I was there on that big epic trip I was talking about. I didn't know what I was fishing, but I was having these dreams about fishing mangroves in Texas. And I bought a shirt from Howler Brothers, and there was like a roseate spoonbill dipping his bill into the root structure. Don't laugh. This is like true life.
No, I just the way you're saying it. You're making me visualize it.
Keep going.
And I'm dreaming this bite, and all of a sudden this bite's happening, and I don't realize what I'm around, but I'm around these mangroves that I visualized they had just been burnt by snow in southern Texas, and it killed all their snook, or excuse me, there's snook there too. I saw them. They killed all their trout because all these big 30-inch, 36-inch trout, they went to the shipping channel into the deep, consistent water, and the almighty industry of the fuel and oil and petroleum, whatever they do there on coastal Texas, is the boss. And they just rolled the freight tankers right down the shipping channel where all the fish were laid up.
Oh,
killed
shit.
them all. So they lost like 80% of their trout population. I mean, I'm no scientist, but I've just heard from the locals the way it was.
I don't know. You might
it
be.
is.
I've been listening to this here.
I don't know. The way you talk, you definitely sound.
You might be a scientist.
But I found those mangroves. The
The
bottom line is I found the mangroves. They just happen to be burnt by the climate change of snow.
Yeah, you said it was a lot like fishing here.
It was, man. The longitude and latitude lines, like when you look at it on a global spectrum, if you jog across westerly to where we're at in, Texas, everything, the grasses are the same, the baits are the same. There's pilchards there.
I love pilchards.
So you look for the same stuff, right?
Bro, when I found clouds of pilchards on a pocketed sandbar and redfish charged them in 1.5 feet of water,
you were like,
I was like,
dude,
like, watch out. Let me see how many.
That's easy money.
Let me see how many I can catch.
That's easy money when you see that.
Yeah, but I feel like you always do that. You always kind of, when you're in a different area, you go and find places that you're used to fishing at home. What looks like home?
Because that's what makes it natural. You look at that and go, there should be fish.
Well, we used to have
Right.
long grass bars, but
right,
like we've lost our grass drastically.
Oh yeah.
Here in Tampa Bay,
which is like a huge,
I definitely saw the base struggle big time this summer, and you saw it again last summer too. Like that.
Rest in peace, Tampa Bay.
A lot of the problem is Hula Bay, right out there in front of Hula Bay.
Yeah.
Used to be the staple for bait. That's where you went for over a decade.
Yeah.
Now is it there?
So I actually caught beautiful bait there for like 4 days in a row last week at kids camp, or the week before it ended. And I mean, it was beautiful bait. You caught it what you needed in 2-3 throws.
Is it there now?
I have not been back.
But I mean, it's not been consistent. Like
it's not consistent there, but like even the bait came in way later this year too. But it was all over the middle grounds. And then when we had that fry bait, all that shit come in, that shit's all over the place still.
I mean, when the habitat dries up, I mean, let's face it, mud bottom is not conducive for pilchards. They love that grass when it's dark to lay.
Yeah, we went on a little
so much grass in the bay.
We went on a little
tragic?
quick trip just to test a boat out, me and Graham last week, to the Hula Bay flat, just running it around. And we realized that the grass there
It's a different kind of grass.
was covered by
Snot grass?
It's being
Other
it's being
grass.
suffocated by an Asian invasive. It's like a mucus algae.
it looks horrible.
It comes
It
in on
is.
these freighter boats, and our municipalities are cool with it. It's like whatever,
No big
like
deal.
bring the trash in on the offshore boats, and let it muck up, our beautiful waterways, in exchange for the sunny days here in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
No,
There's definitely
Grass is a problem.
Well, grass is probably the main problem.
We are.
Yeah. Water
Y'all know
quality.
how I feel about grass. You know how I feel. What's been eating a lot of the grass? It's not the main issue, obviously. But I'm always. I got a sticker on the fridge right there. It says "Save the grass, eat a manatee."
Well,
I don't want to eat a manatee, but they're eating a lot of the
Have you ever
grass.
had burnt-in
We
manatee?
spend $30 million a year in Florida to help the manatees out to eat our grass.
That aren't even from here.
No natural
They're not
predators.
from here.
Yeah.
Well, that's a different argument.
Then with a
altogether.
spill.
That's
The spill killed us, but also one of my big things I think in the bay that's really hurting the fish too, and we might have talked about this before. It's the dolphins, bro.
porpoise or
The porpoises are if there's certain areas that you have 5 or 6 dolphin that live at that and know that when boats show up, they're gonna catch fish and they know they're gonna eat fish when they throw it back.
Very
and
smart mammal.
There's several spots in the bay like that.
Slightly lazy.
They
Lazy, yeah.
They come up for oxygen.
Well, I think that was the whole thing. People are saying now that predatory animals in general are on the rise because the habitat for everything else is.
Sharks, porpoises,
Bro,
Finishing.
sharks are a problem right
alligators,
now. A problem.
alligators on the flats.
So they don't. All they need to survive is food, in somewhere, really. They don't
And-
need grass, and they don't have. They're
and-
not structured around.
And we could talk about this, and I know everyone in here has fished this spot, and everyone has seen what this spot looks like. But what they did at Cypress and took away that entire mangrove line to help build that bridge, they messed up a lot of fish on that in that whole
Destroyed
Cypress.
it. I mean,
destroyed it.
they have the Upper Bay has not been kind between the sewage that comes from the north side of Pine Ellis County's infrastructure, and then hundreds of gallons seep in.
Just dumped another.
Now we're
just-
bringing in from
Just dumped
Riviera.
another 10,000 gallons.
How's
Yeah,
some-
wasn't that in Riviera
How's some
Bay?
pee pee
Yeah.
and poo poo sound?
Yeah,
in
I
your bed?
just don't understand how that is. I drive down
Acceptable?
the road with an expired tag for all of 2 days. I get pulled over. We get tickets. It's a problem. We can literally ruin the one thing that brings millions, if not billions, of dollars here.
Oh,
And that shit
we
is
already have.
okay.
Yeah, it all depends on.
There's no restoration project that I know of for the Upper Tampa Bay grass.
Oh, dude, the infrastructure has to be.
But I'll tell you what, when we
Addressed.
wanted $4 or $5 billion for that friggin' bridge, we got it. It's
We're
here.
worried about manatees, dude. We're
No,
worried about
well,
saving the
the
manatee
bridge-
here.
the
I'm
bridge
from Home
is a
Assassin.
great
We've been trying to save the
addition
river for a
because
long time eating them things.
We have a populous problem, and if
Burnt
there was
ends.
Burn
there was
ends.
anything that happened, we would have a problem getting everybody out of town. Just like case in point, what happened in Hawaii, which I don't know why the
What you mean? Are you saying with the hurricane? Like if we got hit,
exactly.
if we got,
Exactly.
if we've been already lucky where we dodged it. If we've got hit with a direct hurricane, this will be.
we would be listen. You'd have to
Should
have
be really bad.
You'd have to have 4-wheel drive. That's all I'm saying. And you better
Or a
have some
boat in your front
35s or
yard.
38s.
It's
Get you
such
going.
it's such a double-edged sword, though, with everybody moving here. I mean, businesses flourish when more people are here, especially people from other places that maybe got a nest egg or a good chunk of money or moving down here.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, we sell boats for a living. So we're, it's kind of weird to bitch about
It's
one
hard
thing.
to bitch about it when you sell boats for a
Yeah,
living.
to not be
Yeah.
totally,
Oh yeah, we've always been part of the problem,
Yeah, so
but we just know better now, and that comes with wisdom and time.
Yeah.
I mean, is it
I mean, I
becoming a
didn't help.
recreational bay?
I used
I
to think
think-
it was cool to cut
yeah.
fish.
It started becoming a recreational bay when you start the boat club and you do all those things. And then believe it or not, like the bait guys are a big problem too, because now you have every single person that probably don't even own a cast net will go and buy bait, and they're
Yeah.
a Joe Schmo
Used to
that
be a
saw
rite of
3
passage.
people fishing this one spot when they were out one time in one spot where they never moved, and then they're going there. And they might be people that don't even follow the regulations and the rules.
You remember when throwing the net was like a rite of passage?
Yeah, like you had
Now
like,
you can just limp in and be like, "Yo, here's my 50.
Yeah.
Black me out."
Dude, I didn't.
And capitalism's great, and I love getting the bait, but it's just watering down the product.
That might be saving the grass too, though. You got a lot less cast net throwers
nets, yeah.
I never knew how to throw a cast net until
until you came to Tampa.
I met him.
Yeah.
That's a
You
pilch
gotta-
master,
you-
James over there. That's
You
why.
got to do it here.
And then
Yeah.
I did not, 7 years of
Home
throwing
of the
it.
chum bat, baby. The
I'm
chum
glad.
bat era.
You got to do it. You got to
It's
do
like
it
the
here.
asterisk in a baseball when the steroids were around.
Yeah.
It's like in Tampa Bay, it's the chum bat era.
Yeah.
And now there's no era. So take that into account.
Something's got to get done.
I still think there's fish here. It's just,
There is,
it's
there is.
over.
Listen,
Don't get me wrong.
You know what?
I'm not gonna
The
trash
fish
it.
are here, but the fish are where? Where would the fish? If you had one guess, I'll give you one guess. Where would the fish be at?
Oh, they live in
this area?
McDale Air Force Base.
Exactly. Where you
Coon-
can't go,
Coon
where
Creek,
people
dog.
cannot go. I
On the
promise
X.
you, if FWC does some kind of like, all right, let's take some boats in here. Let's really see. There might be.
All right, I hear
It's
you.
a perfect case study
don't
of
think
how
they
to keep.
McDill has been around for a long time, and it's always been like that. Whenever I started fishing, we've always said, I'd love to go in McDill.
I've seen you wade in there, bro.
I have.
I
I have waded in there. You're absolutely
I know a
right.
person that
I
2
caught-
weeks ago went in on a boat.
I caught.
Hey,
and didn't
hold
even
on.
give a shit.
I
You
caught a
see me in
couple
there.
people just goofing in there, bending on my fish. I had to run them out.
Bro, my boy said the other day.
I went
they
past the poles a couple times. Okay,
Woo-wee.
you read the pole when you walk by it.
It's
you
hard
are
to
in
read.
gunfire range. Blah blah blah. But, you're trying to catch fish.
Those poles have so much pelican shit over them. You don't even know what they say.
I actually
There's-
enjoy the smell now.
There's great fish there.
But it's always
for-
been like that, though.
I
is
know,
what I'm
but
saying.
why hasn't no one done? You got these people sitting at the boat ramp. Hey, how's it going? How many people? What'd you catch? Don't sit at the boat ramp. Get volunteers out on boats and get in there and at least like say, oh shit, we just saw, hey, there's 300 redfish in this cove. Okay, great. Now we know there's some fish there, and just get some of the information that. Oh, we're worried about with the bay and what happened to Whedon Island and Lizard and 4th Street. Yeah, fishing, you take it back 5 years ago, it's definitely
20 years
on a
ago.
huge decline. You could go catch 20, 30 dinks anytime you wanted in 3 different spots, and you're now, I'll talk to the captains that I fished with all summer. They were excited for 10 dinks on a day.
Didn't you guys fish today?
I did.
Tell me. Talk to me.
I did.
I was
How
actually
it today on?
go ahead, Bub. Bub
Damn
had
right.
a good day for redfish. I didn't fish.
I got on some good redfish. I got on some good looking redfish that were
Fatheads?
almost
7?
silver. No, they're about 24, 25s. And then the snook bite was decent.
Let's talk about this.
Silver
Was it in a place
species.
you normally catch them, or was it a place they were not? 2 years ago, you didn't really see them there.
2 years ago, it was a snook spot, and you would catch an occasional redfish. I fished it 2 weeks ago and didn't catch a snook. Caught 6 redfish, one back to back to back. Go back, tide wasn't right, struck out. Went back again today. Tide was just finishing coming up. Caught the tail end of the incoming, and they were in the trees, and they were on fire.
Ooh, they
in the
love. They're
morning.
comfortable
And
in
I
there.
also I had a
know why,
line
right?
in the water fishing at 7:15. Cooler part of the day. My best bite was between 7 and 9.
You know why they love the bushes?
Why's that?
Because the porpoise can't eat them in there.
They can't. But that's that. And I told my clients today, I said, this is probably one of my better redfish days that I can go back and look in a while.
This is part
Probably
of the
a
topic.
decade.
This is part of the topic we were going to go over is overfished, right?
Yeah.
So
Heavy pressure.
I think a lot of that is going on. You guys are selling a lot of boats. More power to
A lot
West
more-
Coast.
a lot
First
more
time
captains.
We love it.
buyers.
There's a lot more captains.
A lot more captains.
Hey,
Well,
man.
there's some that retired. There's new guys are filling
Yeah.
in. I don't know that there's a lot more.
Go
I think
make your
that's
money, folks.
I think that's the same.
I think a lot of the guys that I've seen come in have already gone pretty much out that have come on in the past 2-3 years. There's
Come
like
in
2 or
and
3
left.
that are still here.
It's a hard
yeah.
knock life.
It's rough, dude. I mean,
Tip my cap to everybody's out there maintaining.
that's what you got to do.
I remember
you're
saying,
strictly maintaining.
Not too long ago, the trout. Where are the trout? They're not around. The last 2 days, I've been both the last 2 days and stroked them.
Yeah.
Some multiple over 20, and it was
Ooh.
good to see and hear. That's a good trout.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of little ones, a lot of small ones.
That's good.
And it's just been a frenzy. And I don't ever fish for trout. I don't really like to do it.
Oh, we know.
Yeah,
I know.
I don't. But we're trying to catch other things. But that was the bycatch
Yeah.
the last 2 days.
Yeah, hey.
And we were catching good ones. I'm like, well, fuck
Did
it,
you
let's do it
catch
again.
what
Live
you
bait or cut bait?
Were you catching what you were trying to
Lures,
catch?
bro.
Oh, throwing artificial?
Yeah, artificial.
You-
Trying to
No,
catch ladyfish for tarpon, and I'm catching trout at the wazoo because the grass where I was at, from nowhere near Tampa, it's in Pinellas and south, was beautiful. Laid over, it's tall, it's
And there was
beautiful,
fish
yeah.
in it.
and there's fish in it.
Shocker.
I couldn't keep. I was catching pinfish on lures,
And then they're eating us.
Everything, mango snapper were hitting my lures. Everything was hitting it. The
That's
same
like you're
lure.
on
What
you're
lure
on
were
a-
you throwing?
Just something white. Just had to be white.
You
4
were
inches in white.
on a flat that was alive.
Yowzers.
Imagine if the
when you
whole-
were on a flat, there was a lot of water movement as well, right?
Imagine if the whole
Tide's been cranking out. I was
Yeah.
fishing for tarpon.
Were
What
you
the whole
on
bay was
Were
there?
you on East Beach of Fort DeSoto?
I was not. I was Pinellas Point. Tell you right now.
Oh, Pinellas
That's
Point.
always been
That
good.
used to be a good show.
Yeah,
That's-
a little runway. I learned some things with tarpon there.
Really
I've never
good
learned.
captain,
I've never
uh,
seen them there like that.
You talking about the cut, dog?
You
Easy
guys
on
in
the
the
trail.
V?
No, I ain't in the
That
cut.
cut, you put me on that cut
That-
years
that-
ago.
that cut's
I've
fire,
caught
dog.
so many fish on that cut.
That is a great little
That's
cut.
the
great.
that's the kids camp special.
That was
isn't
a kids camp
Damn
special,
right it
especially
is.
when you fresh out of St.
That's
Pete.
anybody from out of town special.
St.
Hell yeah, afternoon trips.
Especially in the summertime.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm not saying the place is completely devastated. We're just in a declining resource, and I think we collectively need to hold the right type of people accountable. And it's time. I know enough people that are, somewhat good on the money side of things. They can fundraise. Now it's just activating.
Yeah, we need help.
I mean, I don't want to put my kid in the water and
I'm worried about that.
and possibly get some doo doo and pee pee in his.
Oh, bacteria is bad.
I
Yeah.
don't
You
want
won't
to
catch me in the water in the bay in the summertime.
It's not about fishing. It's about civilization, enjoying our
Yeah.
coastline.
Yeah,
And
if you
it's-
got a cut on, you got to be careful just splashing water
Bro.
on you around here.
Yeah.
Come
Right
on,
now.
man. It's poo poo water.
It's bad.
Not good, especially at 94 degrees last time I
Yeah,
checked.
it's not
it.
even comfortable to
94 degree with spills.
get in. Yeah.
Come on, man. How there's not something out all over? Everybody should be in
There
arms
is.
about
I've
this.
had 2 clients that both got stuck by snook in the heat of the summertime that got, the what's it called? The amoeba. It's almost like a
Oh, yeah.
MRSA.
Yeah.
A flesh-eating
Flesh-eating
thing?
MRSA. Yeah, that
No
you know,
bueno.
gets into you, and they got to like rapidly keep you alive. So it's a reality. I've seen it firsthand.
Every year that is over there around the Howard Franklin and Cypress area,
Yeah.
and they just stay in the beach. The people go to that beach and they just hop in the water every time. They'll
Well-
tell you bacteria don't get in the water.
Infrastructure, they're trying to improve it, but they're only hurting it by decreasing the flow to the bay. Like Parker used to bring up a good fly fishing friend of ours brings up a good point. Upper Tampa Bay has been suffocated by the lack of natural flow due to bridgeway traffic.
Yeah.
And
Well, they tried to make it better by making that one little
And they
bridge
failed.
there, and that was shit.
No, I mean, and the crazy part is there's not much that you can do about it now.
Now, no,
You
yeah.
know.
no, there's no reversing it,
It's set in
but
stone. They're not.
I mean,
not
can
re-
you imagine though? Just what you take that bridge down, just that bridge isn't there anymore. I don't know how.
There's no Courtney Campbell. You're saying
There's no Courtney Campbell.
it's impossible for that.
I know, but do you think?
Okay,
that,
just
can you
about.
imagine the fire ass redfishing that would be up there?
yeah, I mean, it's still legendary if you know what you're doing.
I can tell you, there's 20%. There's got to be.
It's still legendary if you know what you're doing.
Okay, well,
They're just sitting on the mud.
You gotta
It's
gotta
like
kind
bone
of go.
fishing.
You gotta right now. You gotta kind of go back to the old school way, and you gotta rethink what you're doing.
It's
I
all
don't
about
even. I haven't fished with bait in a long time either. So
It's the best thing ever.
I'm trying.
Y'all
You
throwing
know.
artificials.
I'd like to get the boat out there in the wintertime, up there, when there's no water up there. I think you could have a pretty good time up there still.
I mean, we talked about this captives for clean water.
Mhm.
You said we need one in Tampa.
Oh, dude.
Focusing on right on our area.
I'm SOS. I'm calling anybody that wants to help. I got a degree in political science. I'm really level in my thought process. I think I got solutions. We just need to get a collective think tank together and tackle the problems that are in our urban areas. It's Central West Florida. Big urban
we've-
impact.
I mean, we've
Yeah.
had
It's
a
a
lot of bad
civilization
things
problem.
happen.
It's not
in
fishing.
such a small amount of
I
time.
don't care about fishing. I care about water quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I care about infrastructure problems.
Well, it seems like if you
Yeah.
care about that, the fishing will fix itself.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
I mean, it makes too much
Yep.
sense.
Yep.
I agree.
We
with
just
you.
I
have
agree
to
100%.
get the collective started.
And the base took a really bad hit, bro, in the last couple of years.
Well, we on our east side, so allegedly a lot of a million years ago, the dinosaurs went down on a high piece of land in Florida, east of Bartow, right? So they strip mine and get all the nutrients to provide for the industry, the natural fertilizers that we sell. So on a global scale, we're number one next to a company in Africa. So if you can imagine our quota as a state to keep up with fur demands, because in my personal opinion, the Green Grass Initiative, where everyone has to fert their lawns, the St. Augustine crap, all this, true green this, true green that, bro. Like, we're poisoning our natural waterways so our neighbors don't get mad at us. All right? So
it needs if you live on the water, it needs to be turf.
Thank you.
100%.
Thank you.
It needs to be turf, so that doesn't
Enough
happen.
said.
That's how you fix that problem.
I vote aye. Bubba.
And if you live on the water, you have the cheese to put turf.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean that
right.
should be it. Yep.
And I know we do need fertilizer for planting situations. Farmers need it. It grows thankfully we're responsible for a lot of our food production because of that, right there globally, for everybody. So that means something.
Yeah.
All right. And when the citrus industry went down in Florida due to greening, which was like a genetic disease that came in through, took out our industry, we had to be propped up on something. So as much as I love Ron DeSantis,
FYI,
he was the dude that said, hey, let the millions of gallons go. Like, empty the stacks, man. You know why? Because that's our cash crop. That and sugarcane. So the sugarcane issue has been resolved federally and statewide through the Everglades, what's going on down there. So they're holding water, redistributing it. They're not just letting all this crazy discharge happen. But the crazy discharge is happening up here on an urban level that's out of control.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need the help. We need you guys.
Do you guys want me to do it?
I mean, I think someone's going to have to do it. And
here's
the thing, it's going to be a job.
Yeah.
I think I know enough, but I'm always trying to learn more.
Well, I think at the end of the day, what you're trying, where your thought process is, and I mean, I know I want my kid to be able to enjoy the fishing, and I think that look, it's going to be a while before you can throw a rod in the water and do that. But I mean, if we're on a decline, if there's nothing to actually start making it go back uphill,
you got to fight.
Then it's going to continue to decline, and then by the time, so
it takes 10 to 20 years.
You got to start now because it's going to be a battle for years because everybody who you're going against are all the big dogs, and it's like someone's got to stand up with some big cash, and
that's in this world of money. That's what it means. And honestly, the fundraising's I don't think going to be a problem. I know we all know enough people that are affected.
The fundraising, I think you're right. I think what you really need to do is figure out a way to make a difference politically, so there's bigger penalties on some of these companies doing what they're doing, and that's right here in Tampa. I mean, but the problem is these companies, we all know how this works. These companies provide X amount of monies to our governments.
Yeah.
And you're walking a tightrope there.
Yeah.
But
you on that business.
if we don't do anything,
should I run
don't
for
think
mayor?
it's going to be
we
good.
lose our enterprise, which is our water.
Yeah, that's what Florida is.
Yeah, I mean, Bub,
If I run for mayor, does that possibly,
You saw the look I gave you.
you could definitely help with some of the decisions, I'm sure.
You could help.
don't you need a foot in?
You don't
You guys
want that.
to take a break and sample some more of
Let's
this?
have a shot real quick.
Casamigos?
You don't want that title, I promise.
Was kind enough. Yeah.
James.
I want to pull that lime out first.
I don't want them digging up my skeletons in the closet.
Let's just get close.
Amigos.
There we go.
Amigos.
Cheers.
Cheers, boys.
It's delicious. So we talked about covered a lot of things. I know there's way more stuff we could have went into detail about, but
Yeah, I want to ask you guys some questions.
okay, please shoot.
Oh boy,
Oh,
Here
I
it
like
is.
this.
I like this.
So,
this usually doesn't happen.
I've been knowing these guys for a while, so I can throw these questions at them. Met Bub on the Skyway, jacking tarpon back in the day, many decades ago.
He was jacking them.
Yeah, I wasn't
Oh, yeah.
jacking
That
them,
he was.
but
Males only.
it was we were hammering
Cool.
the tarpon. That's how I learned
Yeah.
how to tarpon fish. That first day we met, what happened? What I remember, you lost your cell phone, dropped in the water at Braden's house.
That's right. Carry
Yeah.
on. That was back when cell phones weren't. I mean,
You had a Nextel chirp.
Nah, that
Yeah,
bitch flipped.
You had a Nextel chirp, didn't you? Or
yeah,
no?
it was like a crazy.
That's what you kids call it? Nextel chirp?
No, it was a.
I don't
A
know what it
Nextel
was.
is just a Nextel.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but
I didn't have
people
a
who
walkie
have
talkie
It was
one.
a two-way. It was a two-way. It was
Yeah.
a two-way
Yeah,
radio.
I love that shit.
So
I want
up
to go
in
back to 'em.
Pasco,
Me too, bro.
up in Pasco, if you have one of those, like a flip phone Nextel 2-way,
Yeah,
like, and you had someone's digits, the beep, like,
you could really screw with them.
it was, you're like,
If you didn't have
It's
that,
the best ever.
yeah.
The best.
Well,
couldn't
it was
do it
more
these
of a-
days.
it was
Ooh.
like a status thing and how quick we all see how fads work. You know, things roll in, roll out.
Yeah.
And that was gone.
I wish
But I
it
do
was
remember
screwed.
losing it and not carrying one lick.
Yeah. But yeah, that was back. What
those
if
were
you had to
awesome.
put a year on that, what year? What would you say? Was it 10 plus years?
That's 90.
No, dude, that was
Nextel's 2000.
02?
2000.
01,
Yeah,
02?
that was I was in college, so that was in
02, 04,
03, 05.
02.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
20
yeah,
years.
20 years.
Good.
Couldn't hide
Yeah.
from a Nextel, bro.
Yeah, and
No.
James.
If you had it on, I knew you were listening because I heard if it went through, I knew you heard it.
Yeah.
That was a problem.
Hey, I know. Boop, boop, I know you hear me. I don't care if you're going through the grocery line and then I start fucking with you. The Nextels were the best, bro.
Yeah, they were.
The best.
And James, been seeing him working in the community. I see FlatsMafia is growing. I want to that was a huge
I think ours
party.
was
that party.
FlatsMaster time.
What's
was when
that?
we started seeing each other and
Yeah,
knowing who each other
yeah,
was.
yeah. Respecting one another, hanging fish on the board, getting paid for it.
One of
Good.
the better fishing times of my life. FlatsMasters was awesome.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, but those times will recycle. And now
I remember
Hallstaddy, met him in the guide scene. Now we're, moving units, through the bay.
Moving units.
Moving
Getting
units.
boats powered up, twins, singles, trips coming.
Yep.
So things are good. But as a whole, this whole collective is, I see it growing, man. I just want to tell you guys, man, it's like mutual respect to everything you guys are doing, donating in the right directions, bringing up awareness in the right directions. It all starts from the bottom level. So I appreciate y'all having me.
We tried. Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
We tried to do some things with the Guide Association.
We did.
Jason Prieto, we've done some
We
things
did.
with
Pareto's
them.
been good about that stuff. I don't know. I don't know what's. We often talked about a guides association like Tampa, Southwest Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And it
like
just
like a private, like a separate chapter.
we try. I think we did talk about that at one time. I don't know. I think right now the best thing for everybody, including guides, and I'm not a guide, haven't been one for 5-6 years, but it is to err on the side of caution with what's going on in the Bay.
Yeah.
I think everything will take care of itself if we can show improvements.
Bring awareness.
in the
Have
Bay.
people open some eyes. And
Take one thing at a time. How do we restore grass in Tampa Bay? How do we do that? Because
We gotta
if you
fix the
do
water
that,
quality.
the right grass, if you can do that,
Mhm.
which means
Well,
you're
they
fixing.
can actually plan it too.
Yeah, but
can't they?
it doesn't matter if you can't live.
Like Graham
There's
said, if you
actually-
don't have
yeah.
good water quality,
There's actually federal funds for
you
replanting.
got to stop the spills.
100%.
Well,
And that
yeah.
goes back to what I was talking about before. How do we stop the spills? If it hurts them to give a shit about it, they'll stop doing it. Nobody likes paying fines for no money. But if it's a slap on the wrist type of situation, they can pay that until they're...
Yeah, but when you're talking about politics and stuff, they have more money to just throw at the problem.
Because the last thing you want to do is start fix. You don't want two things working against each other. If everything stays the same and they're planting grass, but it's... I mean, what are we really
water's bad,
accomplishing?
but then it's killing the grass. So what's the point?
All right, enough of this depressing stuff.
It is depressing. That
Um,
shit is depressing.
Yeah,
Talk
well,
to me about what's
it's
on the
true.
horizon for you guys. I've always seen that you guys traveled cool places, and that's what it's all about. And I respect people that step out of their comfort zone. I don't really respect people that beat down
Well,
the same.
you've mentioned
path.
Texas.
Talk to
I
me
would love
about.
to do
That's
Talk to
on
me
my
about
agenda.
where you guys are headed. What are you guys doing?
Texas is something we've all want to do.
I got an insight in Texas.
We're also waiting
I
on
got
a couple
I got
things.
guy.
Okay.
You got a guy kind of like the guy we had in.
No.
It's messed up. I know what he's talking about. So
Yeah.
All right, well,
No,
we don't want
I
another
got
one
a
of
guy
those
that's-
deals.
I got a guy that's a friend, and he said it's a $300 plane ticket. You can come there
Because-
anytime.
Yeah,
And
I'll drive you guys.
I'm gonna go, and we're
I
gonna.
don't want to drive.
Me
You
and
can
Troy are
ride.
gonna go, and we're gonna scout it out.
you're gonna scout it out.
Yeah. Make sure we like it, and then we'll figure it out after that. It's a longer drive.
Have you guys ever thought about getting into the Bahamian waters and going over there and doing a little?
Now
Your
that I'm-
vibe would, I think we should do like.
Now that
I know a
I've-
pilot.
Yeah.
If you guys are willing to fly in a twin prop plane, I know a guy that will drop us into Andros.
Well,
Does it
Well,
come with
here we go.
parachutes?
here we
And
go.
does it have
We-
my weight size?
we-
I knew it. I
yes.
knew it was going to that.
There's 6 seats in the plane. It's got a huge useful load. It
It's
can
got a
go
what?
useful load. That's like
Well,
the
I'm
weight.
gonna just tell you this: one of my favorite fishermen of all time, may he rest in peace.
That was a home.
Jose Wahebe passed away on one of those going into crazy
Jose.
extravagant. And the only people I know that did that was him, Ricky from La Bamba, and Selena.
Well,
So
honestly,
Kobe.
one of
There
my
you have it.
idols.
Helicopter.
that was a
Helicopter.
helicopter. I'm talking about.
Hey,
the-
helicopters worse.
One of my idols too.
They go down all the
Jose.
time.
My
But
God.
this thing, was not home built, and we will not be flying in inclement weather. So.
10-4.
I want to go try and catch bonefish on fly down there. That's what I want to do.
I think you got to go down to the southern tip down there of Andros is where they live. Little town
I have
there.
no idea
I
where
Or
love
you
the
just go to
southern
Miami.
tip.
Congo town.
Can you
Yeah,
go to
go ahead.
Miami? Is it legit?
Yeah, bro. You
You
Key
can still
Largo.
catch bonefish and-
Congo town, mate.
This guy will take you. T-Dub went with him. Alonzo.
Yeah. Alonzo Sotillo.
Listen,
Caught him on shrimp though, didn't he?
You want the
That's how they
bonefish,
do it,
boy?
bro.
I'll take you to
That's how they
Fresh
do it.
Creek,
I want a fly
boy.
fish.
Hey,
for.
just so you know this, I have heard from 3 different people
Alonzo
this
knows what
year.
he's doing.
Bonefish have been caught at the Gandy hot water runoff. 3 bonefish. I've heard over the
Bonefish
past
permit are on Apollo Beach flat now. not right now. But bonefish have also been caught over there too.
Yeah, and I'm crushing the parrotfish.
And in
Channel
Homosassa.
A.
Homosassa's been
Homosassa.
turning in some bonefish. Yeah.
It's nice to see that, making a little way up.
Hurricane Ian's messing
Bro, they're
shit
international,
up, dude.
man.
Fish are
Dispersing.
lost, bro.
I mean, when I was down in Key Largo, there was a damn orca peeping,
You
trying to
see
sniff
that?
on people.
I had a buddy last week who was scalloping
Trying to get a
in
seal.
Homosassa.
Oh, here we go. What?
Get a little sniff.
Kids saw a shark.
Yeah.
Guy got on the boat, looked at it, tiger shark.
Tell you,
Right
they're
there.
so common there.
Everything's kind of freaking out. We're seeing great whites a little closer now.
They've
Yeah,
always been here.
The tiger shark thing on the flats of
Always been here.
Homosassa, brother, that's been going on since I've been alive.
Mm.
And before that. And hey, for a big, fat freaking fish, you'd be surprised that you won't even know they're by you. They are creepers.
Silent
These
hunters.
are smaller ones. I'd rather mess with the bigger ones than the smaller ones.
Do you remember the one that we saw?
Yes, I do. And that was bad. That was half the length of the boat, and that was a 12-foot shark.
That dude meant business, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, that shark. Remember that video we put on YouTube? Was it El Senor? Remember that?
yeah,
one
that was a hammerhead.
But hammerhead. That's what I meant. What do we? That video not on YouTube anymore? I'm
Yeah,
trying to look
it's
it
on
up.
there. You don't know what you're doing.
Oh, okay, probably that's what it is.
Bet.
You know what the name of it is?
El Senor.
I knew it. El Senor.
So you guys are out on the twin prop plane?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go because
I would do it with
one
a
sack
parachute.
of nuts.
With
Well,
a parachute. I do it
putting
with
a
a parachute.
parachute
there's
on
no
a twin
parachute.
prop
listen,
plane.
Bub, here's the thing. You got to understand about planes.
What kind of parachute we need anyway?
Listen.
It's a big one, but guess what? When you land, you use it so you can be spotted.
Jump
have
on
you
his
ever
back.
seen? Have
Jump on his back.
Have you ever
Listen,
seen
bro,
Castaway?
when you
He had a
land,
parachute, he would have been gone.
Smaller
When you
planes
come on a-
float longer.
Yep. Tell them about the stall speed.
Stall speed is super slow.
Why can't it be a seaplane? So even if we do crash,
Well, my buddy
we'll
Wayne's
land.
got a seaplane. Mr. Thomas, if you're listening.
This guy
Call
knows
him.
everybody. Yeah, I got one of those. Let me call somebody.
I'll tell you
What
what.
I'm saying is, you want to go there for bonefish. We don't got to go there. We don't got to go.
Listen,
there for
we'll go
bonefish.
there spearfish.
We'll go there for whatever. I'm just saying. I'm just talking shit.
We'll go
Let's
there.
just go.
We'll go there, drink some clicks.
I love the Caliques. The
Wouldn't
island
mind going to
beer.
Cayman Brack either. Or Little Cayman. Little Cayman for bonefish, maybe.
Well, I'm game. Graham, we appreciate you coming and sitting down with us there, buddy.
Hey man,
It's been a pleasure.
It's always a good time.
And when you talk fishing, and you really truly
breaks it down.
You really you break it down that we have to tell you. You need to break it down for the people listening. Our people, you need to dumb that shit down. You were like at Algebra 2 honors. We need that shit like at 7th grade math. 7th grade math.
I will
Loves
say
and
this
liberal
though.
arts.
Hey, before
Me, hey, I'm with you though. I'm in liberal arts as
please.
well.
before
ask. I'll
before
break it
we
down.
before we go, people can help out what you're gonna do and help the initiative out because this is gonna cost some money. What you're wanting
Oh
to do.
yeah, it is. We gotta get the
Um,
blueprint built.
But in the meantime, don't be afraid to hit you up for some fine quality products over at West Coast.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, if you guys need my recommendations,
he's the
of-
man over there. He's
like-
not just a salesman.
Yeah, I mean it's basically
He knows it all.
I'm the intersection of vision and budget, and I'll find that X. That's all I gotta say.
That's pretty much it. I mean, he literally, when somebody, I don't know what I'm looking for, first thing out of Graham's mouth is, let's talk about your vision. And I'm like, you will not go into a boat dealership and have somebody tell you that. What's your vision and what does your freedom look like? Those are the two things that So what's your freedom look like today, man? Like
That's
what
the
do you
sales.
think?
That's the sales pitch.
That's not a sales pitch. That's how he lives life. So.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, make sure you go see Graham at West Coast.
Just come in, stop by, chat.
Come by, chat. Just talk fishing with
Red-
him. You'll
Redfish
feel,
Tournament.
you will feel smarter.
Water. You want to talk about the
Hey,
water?
I got an open door policy, and if you guys want to come help,
Look for the bucks and the red and the plaques.
Yep, come
Bucks,
on in.
bucks and plaques.
And
Yeah, and that's not Tampa Bay. That's Bambi.
Oh.
Bucks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got
no,
it.
we're talking about antlers, son.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, not Bambi.
That's
I mean,
a different-
That's
that's
a
a different
disrespectful
podcast.
way. That's a disrespectful way to talk about those deer, and I apologize. I didn't really think about Bambi. I was just trying to be.
It's
funny.
Bambi's dad, but it's cool, man. We can roll on.
It's Bambi's
Keep it
dad.
rolling.
He shot out 5 Bambis.
Yeah, Bambi's alive. His dad's dead.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Yeah,
the story.
charge it to the gameplay. All right,
Well,
let's wrap
hey,
it up.
Appreciate
No,
you
for real.
coming in.
I appreciate everybody. Hopefully this thing keeps growing. Please share. We're gonna do more of it. We're gonna bring special guests.
Yeah, looking forward to what
I
you're
know
gonna do too,
Special guests.
and your vision towards the waters.
I appreciate that too because it means a lot to me.
Graham for clean water.
Yeah,
Graham for clean water.
Graham for clean water.
Two
There you go.
fingers.
I love it. Hey, we're out here, Flats Mafia Podcast, episode 2. 2 fingers.
Peace.